Aloha from the big island of Hawaii. I'm Kori Gala, and I am here to share with you just a little bit about my story. A lot of interesting adventure, and a lot of people ask me about my life because I have several different things that I do, and they always are so curious as to how I ended up doing so many unique things. And so I wanted to start off, you know, basically, first I want to tell you, I've been in Hawaii for 25 years and I'm looking at closing this chapter in my life. So it's a big move. I'm going to be moving to the mainland, and Hawaii's been very magical, very amazing, and I've had a lot of adventures, a lot of experiences. And so I was really feel very blessed and honored to have been able to have the time that I had on this island. It was a dream of mine as a small child to move to Hawaii. My mom grew up in the islands. She gave me a Hawaiian name, which is Pi'ilani Pilar. And I just always wanted to move here. I grew up surfing. I was born in San Diego, grew up surfing, and of course, Hawaii is the place to go if you're a surfer. And just since I can remember, I had wanted to come here. But my journey has not been very straightforward. There's been a lot of twists and turns, and so I kind of wanted to document that because I always say that I'm going to write a book, and I've started it, and I start writing and I start journaling, and I don't know, video is great, right? Maybe I should have just been recording all along and then gather that recording and write it down. But I decided it was time to share a little bit of my experiences before I leave the island. I feel that I need to honor the island in that way. I lived in the rainforest for a number of years. I raised animals. That was my dream, was to have lots of animals, to live in the rainforest. My original dream was to, I wanted to foster children. I am actually, I have my degree in behavior analysis and education, and I did work with children. I specialize with children with autism. But, as a little girl, my dream was a lot bigger. I wanted lots of animals, and I wanted lots of children, and I thought that living on a farm in the forest was very idyllic. And I mean, it was just a lot of work. And I was on an active volcano, and I did live through the eruption. And that seems to be kind of my closure point. I moved, sold that land and moved to the other side of the island, and have just made some big decisions about leaving. So I wanted to document some of my life that led me to this point, and a lot of my adventures here. And so my intention is, in the next 2 months while I'm still here, to kind of summarize things that led me to this place and things that I've learned while I was here. I did study with the kahuna in the rainforest. Kahuna are Hawaiian medicine people, Hawaiian priests, priestesses. My background is in herbal medicine. And so, yeah, I have a variety of things that I do. And so, how did I get into natural medicine? My grandmothers were influential in that way. They both were from Eastern Europe. So, I did learn from them when I was a child, and one of my grandmothers was a massage therapist as well. So that's one of the things that I do. But I did learn herbs, and I do remember being a small child and, collecting flowers and mushing it all up and trying to make perfumes and face masks. And I just think I was really into it really, really early on. I didn't understand at the time that that would be the path my life was taking. I started out taking a very traditional path, and I grew up surfing and loved the beach, and then did go to college, and my mother died. I think I was about 21, so it was a long time ago. I was a full-time college student, and I was living at home, and big changes. So my dad ended up meeting someone and moved away, and I guess for, pretty much I was at one point, didn't have anywhere to live. Like I was living in a car and back and forth, and a really amazing medicine woman took me in. So prior to that, I had been a university student and, was on the dean's list. I was doing great. And then this traumatic event happened. And so I was taken in by a woman who had studied with the Navajo, but was also an acupuncturist and an herbalist, and I became her apprentice. Um, Prior to that, even though I was in university, I was also an actress, a singer, and a dancer. And I was in the Screen Actors Guild. I was doing TV commercials and student films, and I was performing as a dancer. And singing, I'm a little shy. I'm trying to come out of the closet on that and kind of brave it a little bit, and trying to put some music together and kind of overcome that fear, because that's a passion of mine. Um, so I was living with this amazing medicine woman who became my adoptive mom at the time. And I think it might have been prior. It was sort of during that time. I had been kind of seeking utopia. I was dissatisfied with the way that the world was working. And so I was seeking a better way of living, I think. And I think that's why I kind of sort of dropped out in a way. I ended up learning alternative medicine, and then a TV commercial I had done went national, and they played it on the Super Bowl, and it was kind of a big deal. So I started getting a lot of residual checks, which if you don't know what that is, that's money that you get every time your TV commercial shows. And my agent negotiated for a really good price, and uh, so I was getting checks, and I used that money to kind of put myself through massage school. So that was kind of the beginning of all of that. That's how I ended up on that road. And from there, I did massage on film sets because I had already been in the industry. So that was kind of the starting of my journey as, a medicine woman as a profession. I never really thought about it. I always was interested in herbs and medicine, and but that grew, and then I just learned more and more. I started my career in the spa industry. So yeah, that is the beginning. And that, as far as, my path and my journey into healing, and I have an awful lot of stories because I'm an esthetician, and I'm an herbalist, I'm a natural practitioner, I'm also an ordained minister, priestess, however you want to say it. I've studied Ayurveda and Hawaiian medicine and Western medicine, and then, later in life went back to school to pursue Western, a Western education, and finish my master's degree. And I still am learning, and I'm still doing programs, and I'm still expanding and growing and figuring it all out. And so, yeah, but this dream had always been there to come to Hawaii and to have this healing center in the rainforest. And I did my best, and I worked really hard, and I acquired 8 acres of property, and it was in an ancient rainforest with beautiful old growth ohia trees. And I think I will delve into that a little bit deeper next time. Let's see, being disillusioned back when I was staying with my Hanai mom, which is another name for an adoptive mom who was a medicine woman. and I was seeking utopia. And I will get into my disillusionment with Hollywood and why I left Hollywood and why I didn't pursue a career in performing arts, although it was a big passion of mine. Um, and where I ended up on my journey, I ended up in organic farming communities, sustainable farming communities, studying herbal medicine and learning about community and sustainable agriculture and natural medicine and, you know, lots of things. And that became a model for me, what I wanted to create here in Hawaii and tried to create. And, you know, they say third time's a charm. So maybe I will make something in the mainland, and maybe I will finally finish my vision before this life is over. So I plan on creating a number of these videos in the near future, talking to you a little bit about my journey, a little bit about my experiences living in sustainable farming communities, herbal medicine, some of the magical, amazing things that happened in the rainforest. Yeah, and how I have this interesting zigzag life with all of these things that I've done and learned and that I want to share with you. So I hope you have a wonderful, well, it's evening here, a wonderful evening, wonderful day, whatever time it is. I look forward to connecting with you guys soon. I'm going to try to capture some of the beauty on this island through video before I leave. And yeah, closing a 25-year chapter of my life. So I guess that's it. Aloha and stay blessed.